Sorry, the number you have reached is not in service. Please check the number or try your call again. This is a recording.
We're here, we are live, and we are talking about dinosaurs.
That's right. Feathers.
And if you decide that you would like to have dinosaurs in this game full time, as someone who adores birds,
full time,
I can make it happen. Yeah. I have a whole Fey realm. Don't push me. Don't push me. I will give you dinosaurs turning up in this world.
Margot Reyes gets beat up by a dinosaur. And it's the best day of most people's lives.
It's fluffy T-Rex backhands.
See, Margot's just being thrashed back and forth like, this is so great. Huh?
Margot Reyes as a chew toy for a fluffy birdie T-Rex.
I do kind of love the idea
Quetzalcoatlus. I can fly.
A dinosaur playbook in Monsterhearts. And it's like, what's this person? Well, that's a werewolf, and that's a vampire, and that's a triceratops, and that's
triceratops. That one is a that one is a triceratops. A cyteratops is what my brain decided was correct.
Triceratops. I forgot that we're playing a game, and I do actually need materials.
Probably should set up a dice tower or something.
I need dice and I need the rules.
I need dice and I need the games, are they? Is it?
I know that I've been making up a lot of rules, but I actually need something to riff off of.
Welcome back from hiatus, everybody. We didn't know how to play the game before, and now.
I would apologize, but I'm not sorry.
And now this.
And now something completely different.
Yeah, I've decided I'm going to chuck out both of these, and we're going to play.
Oh no!
What should we play now? Let's see. What have I got on my shelf?
We're going to play Night Witches.
I've got Blades in the Dark.
Look, keep in mind that if you change the playbook, Danielle has to be responsible for creating another character sheet.
No, we use the same one. We're just going to play Masks instead.
Oh.
Have you ever played Masks?
I was trying to deter you. No, I have not.
No, neither have I. Let's play it.
No.
Let's do it now. Do it live.
No.
Okay.
Not for this.
It is only your distress that keeps me from doing
I know.
things like that.
I'm happy to be distressed if it will keep us. If it will keep us on more or less on track. Yes.
Well, I mean, the story wouldn't change. It's just the mechanics.
I'm aware. Oh,
I see. I feel like I would like to start a separate campaign for the purpose of doing that, where it's just like, I feel like playing this today. Let's just do this, but same game, same character sheet.
I mean, that's kind of what we're doing. We've just only gotten to one so far. We've already added a game.
That's true. I mean, if you have a monster game, send it to me. I'll probably add it next season. It'll be great.
Hey.
Fairly certain I saw a dragon one once, years ago.
Send it to me. We'll see how we go. You never ever know. You never ever know. I'm that kind of chaos. Hi, welcome to Daybreak Prep, the place where everything's made up and the points don't matter. That's right. Everything's made up. The points don't matter.
Until you fail a roll, and then they do.
Until you fail a roll and consistently fail rolls because you don't add your points up. And then they matter.
Yeah.
Danny knows all about this.
I do.
Yeah.
I have no.
No, I'm very aware that you don't. I played the intro before we started to give us some time. However, I'm tempted to play the intro again so that we can play some games.
Again?
Yeah. Let's start again. Let's do that. Now.
We're sorry, the number you have reached is not in service. Please check the number or try your call again. This is a recording.
I know
We got back.
someone who doesn't.
And I did not finish my candy in that time. Tell me what you remember, both of you, so I can chew.
Nom 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 nom. Actually, I just went back and listened to part of the game, so I do remember more than I previously did, because Shawnee was kind enough to send me a link, which I played on and off in my sleep for, and have been doing all day. So where we landed was that there's a cuckoo, and because of that, nobody trusts anybody, and so a brother against brother. Parent against child. It's not angry yet. One of the major actions that happened prior to last episode, we got to see Ren and Raphael having a conversation about stakes and the meta and all of everything that was happening. And what we learned was that Allison Finley, one of Rafe's closest friends, has decided that she doesn't trust anybody, much to the chagrin of her girlfriend, who thinks that she should be an exception to this rule, but is very much is not. She has decided that they should spy on Allison Finley's close and possibly one of her only friends, without Rafe's knowing. And
That's
so Margot says. So Margot says, yeah, it is. But I mean, if they were spying on Ren, they could have told Rafe about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, they didn't. Allison Finley decided that the best thing to do to ensure the truth is being told to her was to spy on Raphael Sato in his conversation with the Fae, Ren/Lynn, who Allison Finley has a vendetta against. Margot begrudgingly allowed this and helped it with her super big dog ears. And tensions flowed. Rafe and Ren had a chat. And then later that day, Brooke almost got her block knocked off. And then we saw fucking Skylar. Ooh. And then the game ended. Oh yeah. And then I think Allison passed out. I don't remember if there was blood, but she did pass out after our vision. Or was it because she hasn't been minding her own business? We may never know.
We may never know.
Just in a classroom somewhere, and we've seen Skylar. So that's kind of where we landed, but I don't remember the rest of the details. Okay, bye.
Not minding your own business. Side effects include passing the fuck out.
Premature aging, sunburn, and passing the fuck out. These are the consequences.
I was quite amused. I did move because, like, obviously Allison and Margot were being very secret squirrel to try and like listen to this conversation between Rafe and Ren. And Rafe didn't notice.
They wouldn't have to be, because Margot can hear from however many yards out
on the other side of the courtyard or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But Rafe didn't even put together when like he's immediately confronted by Allison. He was just like, "Oh hey, you're at the school you go to. That makes sense."
We didn't sit outside your house all night last night because we weren't exactly sure when this meeting or where this meeting was happening.
He didn't know any of this.
We didn't stalk you.
Thing is, like, if he did, he'd been like, clever. That's a good idea. Because it's like, there's a cuckoo. And it's like, how do you know? It's like, if you met up with Rafe later, it's like, how are you going to know that it's not the cuckoo? He'd be like, yeah, I wouldn't trust me. Why would you trust me? I'm one of the best targets for the cuckoo.
Should we also factor in this very important tiny little Allison tidbit of Margot was the one feeding Allison all of the information, correct?
Correct.
Alison then went and double-checked that the same information had been passed against both of them.
And I'm going to cross-check both of you.
I'm going to cross-check. Let me just do... I love academia.
Didn't Margot give like a slightly like...
At the very end, yeah.
Didn't like change any information or anything, but like did like soften some of it. And then Rafe was like, this is exactly what I was told.
She said, I believe Margot changed point of view. So she went from like third person to she went from like directly quoting, like I'm just like repeating what I'm hearing out of my mouth to, and then he said something about and then he says, and he doesn't think,
She went from direct translation to paraphrasing.
Correct.
Something that Alison will 100%. Gosh, I rolled. I remember rolling.
Yeah.
She noticed that.
Of course, she noticed it.
Noticed it, but like from memory, like the gist of the information was all still the same.
It was. She didn't lie. She simply changed the tense, and it was a split second thing too. It was just sort of like, oh shit, what do I? She blanked, and when she came back, she was like, I'm going to paraphrase to catch up.
Yeah. And Ray, we were talking before the show. Ray gets a little starstruck by Ren because she's just really good at the thing he used to do. And there's a degree of like, am I just rusty? Am I not as good as I used to be? Am I not trying as hard? I don't. Is she just really good?
Am I thirsty? Like, does she?
It's like, and is this just like professional appreciation, or is it like there's a lot going on right now, but that was a lot of fun. I'd get outclassed again. 10 out of 10.
Raphael doesn't know how to have a crush because it's Raphael.
No.
He really doesn't know how to have a crush.
Raphael is new to caring about people that aren't directly related to him.
Yeah.
And this isn't necessarily caring, but this is, oh God.
I'm impressed.
He had that same with Juan. He's like, man, this guy's kind of great. And then later on was like, wasn't as good as I thought he was. That's disappointing.
It's the same.
Like he's queers.
He's had like two like, maybe 5-minute conversations with Ren. And after like the first one, he made a promise to it, knowing that it was a fae. Which is like, and he left that conversation feeling like he was really clever for doing so. And then afterwards was like, oh, I'm a dumbass.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
Yep.
Much like the rest of us queers, he is impressed and isn't sure whether he's impressed with his genitals. And
that, it's in the same vein as like getting a creativity crush.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same thing.
The same thing. Ooh, and acting
doing is
ooh.
It's hard. It's painful. Where you're like, in any other situation, no, but oh no.
It was similar with Tammy, like similar but for different reasons. Because with Tammy is like, I appreciate this like the boldness and the attitude and the just like let's fucking go.
On it.
We can't be doing this. Like I can't be doing this right now. This is not okay.
Unbridled.
I'm a walking addiction, and I'm not going to do this to people that I actually think are pretty cool. But it's still like, good for you.
It's weird when you realize you're a succubus.
It's weird when you realize you're a succubus.
I'm a walking addiction. I'm not going to do this to you.
That wouldn't be fair.
Suddenly has to like consider the repercussions of his actions. He's like, oh no, we're not. We're not going to.
Did somebody call Brooke Kaufman's name? I think I just heard.
Yeah,
that's a really good point.
We had so in more trying to remember what happened last time. Rafe did have a conversation with Ren because he had promised to give her a gift. Should she need one. But he'd also who was he? Which of the Reyes clan was he working with? Which was the one that called the meeting?
Jay.
One letter.
It's just one letter.
There's so many of them.
I'm sorry, there's 26.
And
26 letters to choose from.
I meant Reyes's.
Not make that shit up right there. That is. Welcome back, everybody.
Oh shit. Oh god.
Yeah, this is why we're here. This is why we're here. This is what we're here for.
Yeah. But yeah, Rafe sort of said to Jay, was like, I've actually been doing a lot of work with creating barriers and spaces that people can either not get out of or into. We could try and like tweak that so it becomes a cuckoo trap. And then he went and
cuckoo trap.
I don't think he made a lot of progress. I think he tried stuff and he like hurt himself in the process or something like that.
Right.
I remember. I think we rolled to make progress and he failed the roll.
He didn't not make progress. I did.
It was. I mean, like fail. There's a fail forward sort of aspect to it. But
yeah,
like,
it glitched. So there's a short duration on this spell that exists at the moment.
My vision of that thing was like you see him start working and then like the camera like tracks back up the stairs and like out the room and then just before it like just as it's leaving that space you see this fuck. And he's like, and that's like...
That's basically it. Just to recap on that, if anyone hesitates on this short duration spell, it could mess it up. It could just malfunction. So you could end up identifying someone who is not the cuckoo, or you could end up identifying identifying more people as a cuckoo.
Yeah,
that's what it means at the moment. It's got a short duration. You work through it quickly.
Yes. Okay.
Or it's gone.
That does actually sound.
Or it malfunctions in some way. Yeah.
And this is just the trial run anyway, just like proof of concept.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not. It wasn't. We were doing proof of concept, so it was something that would work on Jay rather than what we would work on the cuckoo. Just sort of. Yeah, just prove that it works. Theory is sound.
Look, here comes a consequences of
speaking of that spell, and the consequences, I'm just going to shut this window.
Oh, and the big man, big guy,
big guy, the big man, the big man. Yes, the big guy downstairs
has been surprise interviewing people.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that sucks. That has sucked universally.
Universally.
I mean, the walking personification of death turns up and says, "I have questions."
I have questions.
I mean, would you prefer he turn up and say, "I have questions," or would you prefer he turn up and say, "So I have answers to those questions that I had"?
Ooh, you know what? Now that you mention it.
Mm-hmm. Which would
I'll take the questions. I'll take the questions.
That's what I thought. That is exactly what I thought. And so the questions are good for now.
I also think I feel like because everyone has that reaction of like, I don't like this. Whereas like I think it wasn't coming from quite as threatening position as it came across because he is just naturally threatening and a scary presence. So it was amusing to have these sort of like, he's like, I just want these answers. And everyone's like, you're terrifying, go away.
You're terrifying.
Like, but could you just please, I need to answer this questionnaire. It's like, no, please, no, go away. Oh, please, no. And he's just like this sort of like hard done by. It's like, I get it, but please, this is why I don't do field work.
Oh,
this is why I send out minions.
Just had to subcontract because you're less scary people.
I'm just tweeting, but this is correct. This is true. In fact, you know what? I did write a brief. It's not that brief recap because I feel like there's so much that's happened that it's really hard for it to be brief. In fact, what we're doing today, that part's brief. So just to help everyone out, previously on Daybreak Prep. Oh. Lai's father, the big guy downstairs, learned that Lai was not only a Reaper, but a unicorn too, which presented a huge problem because unicorns heal and are dedicated to life in the same way that Reapers are dedicated to death.
Oops.
The potential that Lai has killed rather than reaped is significant. Few would be able to tell the difference, and so the big guy began an investigation. He learned that as children, Margot Reyes and Alison Finley had something to do with the fact that Lai was alive. Margot remembered nothing of the situation. Alison mentioned remembering very little of it, just fragments of a vision. Rafe had come to visit after renovating his new house, and Margot invited herself over to experience a supernatural library, learning, among many other things, that academia turns her girlfriend on. Meanwhile, Noelle had a heated conversation with the big guy about what they could and couldn't tell each other, in which old grudges resurfaced until he threatened her daughter. Jay calls everyone, including Raphael, to the Reyes' home. They remove their headphones, causing themselves agonizing pain to prove they are who they say they are, before telling the hunters there is a cuckoo in their midst. Not necessarily a full-bred cuckoo either, which makes it even more difficult to pin down. Carmel uses her own experience of Lai to reveal she knows it's them before deciding to leave, allegedly. As she does, Lai's darkest self fades, but several others emerge, Carmel being one of them. Lai and Margot share information, with Lai telling Margot that it's the very specific combination of lichen and psychic abilities that can wreak havoc on reality. Margot asks Lai whether she's hurting Alison by doing this, to which Lai doesn't have a clear answer. Their discussion becomes tense as the two realizes their allegiances may in the future lie in different directions, but they put it to one side and part as the water of the lake moves. Raphael discusses preparations for a cuckoo trap as Alison considers trust, and the two talk about the impact of trust on Alison's psyche. There are immediate consequences of this as Margot returns and Alison quizzes the puppy on her identity, beginning a spiral of friction between the two. On her way home, Alison asks Margot to help her spy on Raphael, furthering the tension between them, while Lai has a soft moment with their dad. Tallulah, Lai's ex, maybe, has a quiet conversation with her handler, who lays out the importance of having a Reaper they can trust on their team. Ultimately, she talks to Lai about them joining, and they are consistently non-committal. She gives Lai information about her reasons for being with Prue and Fodringen. They've taught her to control her abilities in a way no one else thought to. She doesn't tell Lai that they're looking after her sister. Alison has a tender moment with her mom, getting to ask questions she couldn't before, and while she packs a bag, Noelle steps outside to have a similar conversation with Margot before experiencing a violent vision that leaves her bleeding and exhausted. As the next morning dawns, Raphael meets with Ren. She proves she is readily enough, and the two have a deep talk about Ren's involvement in Alison's upbringing, how she reacts to the meeting, and that Ren was there for her. Rafe imparts Ren with the gift of presence as Margot looks on and transcribes most of the conversation accurately to her girlfriend, glossing over the idea that Alison shouldn't trust anyone. Just as the conversation between Rafe and Ren finishes, Alison sees Brooke and, to Margot's concern, shifts immediately into hostility, outraged that Brooke, who was just going to class, would even show her ghoulish face. Alison's hostility flows onto Margot, and she has a brief, soft conversation with Rafe before following the ghoul, forcing her into a room, attempting to interrogate her, and leaving her with a death threat. All of this with Margot listening from outside.
Oh, yeah.
As Alison leaves the room, she falls, locked in her own vision, one that results first in her sobbing, then falling unconscious. As Margot scoops her girlfriend up and takes her into a classroom, Skylar Moore, vampire of Daybreak Prep, walks past the window. That there is everything that I could remember just off the top of my head when I sat down.
That's incredibly well done, honestly.
I had completely forgotten about Little Miss kidnapping is not a deal breaker.
Not Little Miss kidnapping is not a deal breaker.
Kidnapping is not a deal breaker.
Which is a weird book in the series, but you know.
Hey, it's important to the story, friend.
Oh,
Is it? It is. It is important to the story.
Mm-hmm.
One of these
It's important
days,
that we know as much about these characters as we can.
isn't it just?
Look, I'm entirely aware that Tallulah has their reasons for doing what they do.
I honestly had that whole little conversation just now with both of you, thinking we were talking about Brooke. Forgot that was Tal. Whoops. Look, here comes a consequence.
It's also funny because, you know, Tallulah could, like, if you want, Tallulah can have a conversation with anyone and discuss whatever she needs to with anyone.
She could. Will she? No.
I don't know.
No. Probably not. She will. Likely. Eventually.
One of the things that I might do today, because we don't have a Phoebe, but I will take note of where in the session it happens, is potentially find out what Carmel's up to. Follow Carmel for a little bit.
That would be mean.
No. That's why I would take note of where we're at in the session, so that when it's uploaded, when it happens, so Phoebe can actually see it if they want to.
I think it's only fair to let everybody know that I did ask Shawnee some questions about what Carmel was and wasn't allowed to do as a character, mechanics wise, that did shock and trouble them.
Look,
oh no.
Here's the thing. If something shocks and troubles me.
Exactly. Shocked and troubled Shawnee said.
That's when it has to happen.
I'm sorry, why are you? What do you ask? What?
Oh
no.
And just like that.
Yeah.
Well,
like it was. Yeah.
Shouldn't hurt the nice, quiet ones.
No,
Never.
probably not.
Never.
Never.
Upset
do not push them to breaking point. That's not good.
Never send the good ones into their supervillain mode, because you don't want that. You do not want it.
Honestly, it's always the quiet ones. So I learned some valuable information, and so did Carmel, about her abilities and what she can and can't do when pushed, which she has been.
And so did I, about the way a number of brains work. I learned a lot of information without that one conversation.
Are we gonna have like a very pointed reminder that Carmel was also at the Hunter camp for a reason?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying you won't. Here's the thing, but how do we know that Carmel even really, the camp, much like Daybreak, is really all about your ability. How do we know that Carmel actually needed to be there to learn so much as just brush up on,
Well, the very first thing I said on the very first day of camp was that some people would turn up to refresh skills, and some people would be turning up to learn new skills or to build on skills that they already had.
That is correct.
That
is what I was referring to.
Very specifically said that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Sweet Sauce Carmel has a backstory.
She does, and she has plans. Apparently,
she had a life before this. Mind you all.
I have fears,
and that's what makes me happy. Being able to shock Shawnee was just alarm Shawnee in any way, in any capacity, even nearing the way that they alarm us literally all the time, was very satisfying for me. It meant that it was validating. That's what I'll say.
I'm glad. I'm very glad that I could validate your storytelling and world building.
Thank you.
and provide that much needed dopamine from my fear.
It was good.
Yeah, good. So was that a yes, you would like to see Carmel today, or a no, you would not like to see Carmel today?
We'll see how the day goes. I'm sorry. I did just go off on a thing. I just needed everybody to know.
You just needed everyone
it was mostly a message directly to Phoebe. For when they watch this. That's just sort of like, hey, bud. So this is what we know about what Carmel's planning.
Cool. You know what's also really interesting? You told me, or you asked me questions. I could extrapolate from that. Instead, I said, I'll worry about it when it happens.
You sure did. You did make that choice.
I have not
anything, but
any plans.
I wasn't going to tell you anything.
I know, and you still you still didn't.
And it's better if it's a surprise.
I feel like it's as a storyteller, I should plan to a degree.
You said that when I was telling you, yeah, that you wanted to know more because as a storyteller, as the MC, you should plan it to a degree. I said when it was time, you would know.
When is it time?
I don't.
Oh, okay. So at the point where you say, whatever it is you're going that you say that starts this train of events, and I go, oh help! I haven't come up with anything for this.
No.
We'll just
How about that?
So
I'll give you the secret code word, and then we'll have a secret phrase that I will say so that we can go to break.
If your secret phrase is "surprise, motherfucker,"
well, now it's not.
Sorry, I've ruined it. I've ruined it all.
Now I got to pick a new one. God,
I'm sorry. So let's half an hour in. Let's actually play some game. What's really funny is because of when I learned that Phoebe wouldn't be able to play today. All I wrote for the intro for what we are doing today, playing the grown-ups. It's the grown-ups day. For the most part, grown-ups and Rafe. Anyone that doesn't have to be at school. Oh, hello. Turned on a light.
Nice.
Let's look and see. I nearly started singing The Lion King and I stopped.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. That was me.
You saw it. You saw it happen.
No, I mean, I instituted
You were about to do it as well.
On purpose.
Oh, yeah. Nearly happened. Yeah. All I wrote was one sentence, which is, your children have been through a lot.
Fair.
That's as far as I got. And I went, you know what? I feel like that sums up everything.
They have. Yeah.
They have. Noelle.
Yes.
Last we saw you, you had woken after passing out due to a rather large, rather significant vision.
The person currently playing Noelle has no idea what that vision was that made the eyes bleed. By the way,
you do actually.
I do.
You do. Do you remember when I sent you a piece of art not long ago?
Yeah, vaguely. It was over a month ago, to be fair, but
it was over a month ago. I'm going to send it to you again.
Pre-season break.
Pre-season break. I sent you something that I had drawn and went, this is troubling.
Is that what made the eyes bleed? Is that what didn't need it?
Yeah, that's what did it. I've just sent it to you again. That's what she saw.
Neat, awesome, neat. Great. Neat.
We love that live response.
Neat. Oof.
She saw that and passed out, and
With the bleeding eyes, yes.
with the bleeding eyes, and woke up in bed.
Yeah, because the kids put her there. Yeah.
Let's put her there. What? How does Noelle feel about the fact that Alison clearly saw that vision occur?
Clearly saw the vision occur, or clearly
As in saw her having a vision.
Oh, I understand. I don't think it's the first thing that she thinks of. And I think that's because she's still getting used to the fact that there is so much that her daughter has missed. I mean, it's definitely like scary, like having seen the look on Alison's face, being able to like intuit that she did not respond to it well and assume like because of that, like, oh, this must have been a bad one. This must have looked in much the same way as I was thinking recently about how it's unlikely that Margot has ever seen, other than like a reflection, has ever actually seen a picture of what she looks like. She hasn't seen what she looks like as a werewolf. It's not something that immediately occurs to Noelle that it would be anything other than natural. It's like seeing someone brushing their teeth. Like, just, you know, now your gums are bleeding. I don't know. I don't think it's the first thing that she thinks of, but it is distressing in the sense that she thinks that it might cause more of a rift between her and Alison, even if it's just a small one. It's something she feels like she needs to explain. So that leads into like, there's more guilt. Like, should I be like just spending all of my time just telling her everything that I know? Like, I've missed out on so much. She's missed on so much because of me. Like, it's kind of a thought spiral situation more than anything. Like, shit, I should have prepared her for this. Am I a bad parent? Blah, 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 blah.
Am I a bad parent? Not am I that parent? Right.
Yeah.
So when Alison's like, I'll see you later, I'm out.
Yeah. I mean, the part of Noelle that is a human being and not a mother is like, good, I need time to process this also. Like, my daughter is an adult and there's a lot going on right now. So it's not, it's not the worst possible thing.
Yeah. How did she feel about what she saw?
Terrified. She's confused in a certain way because her visions are typically so far off, and the people who feature in this vision don't look much different than they look now. She has the urge to obsess over it, and is trying not to because it is not as prescient an issue as everything that is going on right now. It's like, this is another thing that I don't have time for. This is a potential, and this is antithetical to everything I know about the people that I'm seeing in it, but not antithetical to the possibility of everything that I know about those people. Like, they could be like this. I don't know them this way. I don't know them to be this way, but that doesn't mean it's not possible. And fuck. Well, fuck.
Right. Not long ago, Noelle said, it's generally better not to tell anyone your visions.
Generally? She said, don't.
She said, well,
it's pretty hardcore, like, do not do this thing.
She said, don't do it. It's going to be better not to do it.
Don't.
Is there a circumstance under which she would break that for herself?
Who would she? It depends on who.
Say Ari or Jay.
Yes.
Or Ren.
Not Ren. I don't think. Not right now.
Right.
Not right now. Because of the cuckoo situation, number one. Yes, this has been her confidant for quite some time, but also she knows that there's a rift between Allison, and everything that she does right now is in pursuit of like equilibrium, at least with her daughter. And anything that would upset that or like trigger it in one way or the other, she's mindful of Allison in every decision that she makes. But I think that when it comes to things that scare her or things that she might go against what she knows to be ethical by telling someone, the people that she would go to would be Ari and Jay. That's the only time she would make an exception, because she knows that they understand the nature of what it is that she does and the gravity of what it means that she's saying something.
Yeah, they would understand just how important it is purely based on the fact that she said something at all.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the kind of vision where she would disclose anything?
Not right away, but Ari's not home yet, so that could change things. Sorry, something fell. She's got a lot to say. She got a lot to say to Ari, so
she's got a lot to say to Ari. Does she, if she has a big vision, even if she doesn't tell anyone about the vision, about what in the vision, the content of it, does she tell anyone that she had one?
There's no reason to.
Okay.
That just makes it harder to not tell them what the content of it is. Like, what people are not perceiving is, that just makes it, like, anything that can make her life like a little bit easier would be. You don't need to talk about, I had a vision. I can't tell you anything about it, but I did have one. I did. I have a secret.
I have a secret that I cannot tell you, and I will not tell you. Good luck.
Exactly. So she just usually tries to like not publicize. It's not possible when your eyes are bleeding, but
It's hard. Is it every vision? Is every vision that catastrophically big?
No. No.
Worth checking. I didn't think so, but it's always worth checking, asking the person that's playing the character,
I mean, you were playing her when it happened. You tell me.
It's not. No, not everyone. That's
what I thought.
In fact, it would be very easy to deduce that the catastrophic ones are either big in importance or very close to hand. Not very close, but like Noelle sees months to years out, decades out.
Right.
The fact that it's not decades out or years out puts it into such a close span that it's not comfortable.
But she also knows that something's going on with her visions right now. Like, on top of everything else that's happening right now, she also knows that something is happening. And she's not sure whether it's because of all of the tomfoolery that's going on right now, but it's not coincidental, because she's here and alive to see her previous visions coming true. And now, like, shit is changing. So how reliable are those things really?
This is true. And one more question. Has she been in any contact with Silas?
Limited, I would say. As you know, she did ask him to let her know if he find. You know what? I think Silas would know like not from where he is right now, not from Egypt or wherever it is that he actually is. But in general, I think Silas would be able to tell if he were in the house with her when Noelle had a vision. And I take back what I said earlier. I would say that she would tell him, but only because he wouldn't press her on the details. And that was like a measure of trust that like had to happen between them. In so much that is like, okay, so we're going to be together. Like we're
not talking about.
I know you can see this. No, I know you can see this part of me, and I want to share that part of me with you because I don't want to hide it from you. But like, you know the rules as well as I do. And he's I will get you some water kind of, like will be quietly supportive about it rather than yeah. So yeah. That's why she felt good asking him, like, hey, if you find anything about dream interpretation or anything like that, like let me know. I think their conversation has been limited though. Number one, because it's awkward. Number two, because he said he needed time. And number three, because everything sucks right now. And every time she opens her mouth, it feels like Noelle is making it worse. So.
How long has she been thinking that one?
I mean, it's a renewed thought every time she has a conversation.
Every single time I open my mouth. Help.
It's too much.
And so what I'm going to do is give you the choice of who shows up.
What mean?
Ari, Jay, or Silas?
Oh God.
Not necessarily in the house immediately, but
I can't. I'm gonna roll it because I can't.
You just need a D6. You just need Did you not have a D6 already?
They're in here. Remember how I lost all of them? I've been collecting them all. I've been putting them in this little tin.
Okay, so 1 or 3, I presume, would be Ari. 2 or... I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. Why am I doing this to myself? 1 or 4 is Ari. 2 or 5 is Jay. 3 or 6 is Silas.
There we go.
Roll it.
I was like, I had a system and you started saying numbers immediately. Nope.
I don't know why I did this to myself.
Okay.
What did you roll?
What was 6 again?
6 is Silas.
That's Silas. Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
Oh Lord. Silas. You have been traveling across land for a long time. Which sucks. It sucks so bad because it is very difficult to be a marine biologist when you are nowhere near a marine.
Water.
There is no water to be exploring when you are in Egypt. It sucks. There is a whole lot of sand, and oddly, very oddly, some of the languages that you come across in Egypt match ones that you have seen underwater. You are muted, by the way, Sam. But ones that you would see underwater. Just as a side note, Silas would be aware of Carmel's family. Silas would know Carmel's family.
Does he know Carmel? Or just like
probably did at some point, as in...
Or is it like just like, wait, is your mom such and such? Right.
You look just like...
Yeah. And in the way of like, oh yeah, probably saw a baby camel, hasn't really paid attention, and has been in different parts of the marine since she grew up. So it's not really, I say the marine, of the ocean, of the marine, just one jetty.
Yeah.
One marina, just one. It's like how you can find a new type of bug just in like a square meter of your backyard if you think about it and try hard enough. Not yours, you don't have one, but everyone else. I'm not sorry. Okay, fine. You can have one also.
No.
Okay.
No.
I was just trying to be realistic, in this fantasy world.
I don't want the new bugs. I'm okay.
You're okay with the old bugs?
I'm okay with the no bugs.
No bugs. Okay. So Silas has been not necessarily discovering new forms of creature or anything like that. Silas is a marine biologist, but the biology that Silas tends to study is that of monster biology, not necessarily of natural fish biology.
Now we get it.
Mm-hmm.
Now it all makes sense.
Now it all makes sense, right? People can do a job that sounds like one thing, but is another thing also.
I knew that man did not have the job we thought he did.
I mean, he was still doing the job. If anyone had asked about it, he would have known about mundane marine biology.
I know about fish. What are you talking about? I know about fish.
I know about fish.
I know about fish.
And whales. Whales.
Did you know there are
different, which I know because I know about fish.
Mammals. Mammals live in the water. Water.
Why don't? Hang on. Make a note.
And sometimes they end up in the fate. No, not that one.
Ink.
No, not that. No. Yeah. No, not that. That one's not real. No.
And sometimes squid communicate very effectively, especially when they squirt that ink at a wall and it comes up with glowing fade. Never mind that. Ignore all of that. I did sweet.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
It's fine.
Don't kill the fishes. Don't kill the fishes. So Silas, you've been through one hell of a horrible experience because it's been dry, parched. If we're not switching to Rent, we're not.
Forbidden to produce Faye.
Oh, I mean, Silas, you don't produce milk or Faye. Categorically, I can state both of those things. So we know that Silas is not Faye. We don't know what Silas is. We know that Silas is not Faye.
We have narrowed it down by one, y'all.
Yes.
I mean, 1 out of endless. Yay! Yep. And you did discover something while you were on your trip. You learned, one, that the same sort of texts have been found in tombs as underwater, which is fascinating, and says a lot about the people who built the pyramids, really. But also, you did learn a little bit about dream interpretation. You did find a book on dream interpretation. And you have that.
The secret. The secret.
Oh, God.
It's the secret.
You did not bring home the secret. You did not bring home the secret. I'm striking that. That is not canon.
What if it's the magic secret?
No magician worth their no psychic worth their salt would come up with the magic secret as a book title.
No, you got to get the you got to get the special edition, and it's a lot. It goes into a lot more detail.
Yeah, but you found a book on dream interpretation that you have just under an arm, I suppose, as you get within about a mile of home.
Silas.
It has been a while since you left, a little bit. How do you feel coming back? Did you want to come back?
Definitely wanted to come back. I mean, he wanted to come back almost as soon as he left. But left with good reason. But some of those reasons recently stopped applying. So it did make staying away harder. And it sort of eventually got to the point where it kind of like gathered, like, not like the full extent that he could go on his own, but like had gone almost as far as he was going to go by himself. At some point, you're going to have to come and discuss findings and stuff with other people and collaborate and try and sort of make sense of some of the stuff. And he could keep working away by himself, but he has friends and family who can assist and would probably benefit from what he's gathered over the years. And the fact that one of those people that he should collaborate with happens to be Noelle, it was just a bonus. But it's sort of like it's kind of just like as soon as because in pretty quick order, two of the big reasons he wasn't around aren't around anymore, and it becomes harder to sort of justify. Like it's like, am I, while Jazz is around, it's like, yeah, I'm doing more good here than I can possibly do over there. When that stops being a thing, it's like, am I? Like, is this a benefit being so far from Noelle and from Allison? Like, is this actually the best I could be doing? And it just sort of becomes harder to justify that stance that he was the longer that these reasons weren't around anymore. And so eventually it's like, it wasn't an easy decision because it is like he was doing good and there was very good reasons not to be there.
So here's a detail that I think might be missing from what I gave you, but also just in general. Oh, actually, I'm just going to recap a little bit of what's the story in general, in fact. First piece of information. Noelle and Jazz are identical twins.
Yes.
Jazz goes. Noelle returns. Identical twins you can tell apart. When Noelle gets back, there's, yes, I have Noelle back. Then I'm going to go think about that. in the I'm gonna go think about that. That's where we are now. With where the comeback from the I'm gonna go think about that. So Noelle was back before the departure. It's been about a month. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he had come back and then he left again.
He left again to think about the fact that, hey, there's an identical twin here now that's alive in the same way that Alison had the whole, oh, you've been alive this whole time. You don't write?
Yeah.
You don't call? I knew it wasn't you, but you don't write, you don't call. You just left us here in this situation here. She did not disclose the fact that she was elsewhere in the world to anyone. The only people who knew that she was elsewhere in the world were Jay and Ren. How they knew? Not disclosed. No, that information hasn't been shared. But they were the only people that did know. The current situation I hazard is weird. That's it. That's all the information I have for you. It's weird.
I think, in part of like going away and trying to process all that, there is a degree of like, because there's initially you've got a bit of like hurt and it's could have told him, could have told, but didn't. But at the same time, there's a degree of like the situation was bad. It was just bad. Like he also left because it was bad, but he left because that was the best he could do for the people he cares about. And it's like ultimately Noelle did the same thing. In a broad sense. It's like we were doing the best we could in a bad situation to help the people we care about, primarily Alison. It was like there wasn't a lot we could do, but we did the things we could do, we did, and it meant not being there, and it meant sometimes not telling people stuff. And so it's like, yeah, that sucks. It sucks because it was a bad situation, and not because of like wasn't Noelle being mean or vindictive or hurtful on purpose.
No.
But there's sort of like it just needed sort of a bit of distance to sort of get over that initial sort of just visceral reaction of hurt. But then ultimately there's that realization is like, yeah, it's crap that she was away, but she's here now. And there is a part of him where it's just like, she's here now. The hell am I doing? Like, it's crap now, but she's here now. So how is that not, surpassing everything else?
This is true.
And, hence he's now a mile away.
Now he is a mile away. I am going to ask you to roll dark for me. I don't know if that's populating as I am typing it. I hope so.
It doesn't. I'll refresh it. Oh, hey. That worked.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Okay. Dark is 2, so that is 8.
You can smell Noelle's blood.
What the fuck?
Is there a sense of like scale, or is it just? And is it like actual scent? Like it's like catching,
It is
or is it
stale.
more just sort of like?
It is stale, but it's been shed. As in, there was some, it was cleaned up. But it is definitely her blood.
I was also, is it more like in the way that like, you know, Margot is better at hearing and it's just because their hearing is better than others? Or is it more sort of like a supernatural ability that manifests like scent? And it's like, that's a way to describe it, but it's not quite.
It is the supernatural ability of having heightened senses.
Okay.
And it's more a case of, it's less a case of like scenting on the wind and more a case of, I am specifically attuned to this person.
Right. Yeah.
Like there's other people's blood out there, probably. That's not what Silas pays attention to.
Yeah.
Silas would pay attention to Alison's blood and Noelle's blood. That's it. That's really the focus.
Yeah, I think he'd not been like, you know, keen to get back, but there's a degree of like apprehension. So it hadn't been like rushing home or anything. And then that changes upon smelling that. And it just sort of immediately picks up the pace. It's just like, because you said it, you could sort of get that sense that it had been like cleaned up. So there's a degree of like, probably past a critical place, but that doesn't want to be there as quickly as he can be.
That makes sense. Can I ask us to pause for just a moment, please? And just give my husband a round of applause because he just reached 1 million subscribers on YouTube.
Hell yeah. Hells yeah.
Yes.
That's fucking amazing. Yeah.
Your internet applauding around, the whole internet is applauding for you, Liam.
Yes.
Absolutely. That's amazing.
He's like, "Are you applauding me?" I'm like, "Yeah, that my stream applauds." His response is, "Thank you, stream."
You're welcome, Liam. You deserve.
Returning to scheduled programming. So he picks up the pace. It's obviously not fresh blood. It's not. Let me see. Give me 1 second. I can hear that, whatever that is. I hear it. I heard it.
I heard it.
I heard it.
It wasn't me this time. It's usually
good
me.
hearing.
I got the good ears.
I got the good ears. So here's a fun thing. What I have given Silas is the playbook, The Divine.
Interesting.
Not because that's necessarily what he is, but that it is closest to what he is.
Okay.
Not that he is divine. Just
okay.
that's the closest. So You actually have a move called Angel Wings. And you sound stressed.
It's laughter, but it's just breath. It's breathy laughter. It's just angel wings. Cool.
They're not angel wings. They don't look like angel wings, but
I see it. Right.
You see it? Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out how to populate.
Just looked in the book.
Mm-hmm. There we go. I'm just putting it into Notion as I go. You can go instantly to anywhere you've visited before or to a person you know well.
Damn.
That's how that works.
It's a neat trick.
Weird roll?
It's not one that Noelle has ever seen him do before. It's not one that he tends to do.
Oh, I only have to, okay. Sorry.
You only have to roll if you're taking people with you.
You only have to roll if you're taking other people, which is that's actually really neat.
I just think it's neat.
Yeah.
I just think it's neat.
So that is an option to you, or you can take the mundane route.
I think that would be what he would do.
Mm-hmm. Would he? So he's never shown Noelle this ability. This is not something Noelle has seen. In fact, Silas has been very, very careful not to show Noelle any ability that he has.
Well, he doesn't need to go to.
He doesn't have to go directly to her. He just has to go. He can go somewhere he knows well.
But she's at their house, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he knows the house. He can just go to the house.
Yes.
So he doesn't have it's not like appearing next to her or anything. He just arrives at the house. Mm-hmm. Just sort of like magically like hyper travels and then does the thing where it's arrived and it's like, okay, and starts like walking normally.
More like lie than he would ever have reason to know.
Yeah. And so I'm assuming heads inside.
Yes.
Catching some of the staff off guard, they do not open the door. He opens the door. They don't, because he's appeared basically on the front doorstep.
The audacity.
Or, behind a hedge or something. So it's not behind a hedge. There would be a blind spot in the cameras. He appears there. They miss it. They don't see it.
Yeah.
He's done this before. This is his house. He knows where he can appear sneakily.
There's potentially like a very small but very purposely placed blind spot.
Yes.
For this very reason. Exactly.
It's entirely likely Noelle is unaware of that very specific blind spot in the camera, in what's going on there. You head inside, I presume.
Yes.
Head upstairs.
Is this the same day?
This is the morning after.
Oh.
So this is basically what is happening while Allison is giving death threats.
Getting or receiving? Or giving or receiving?
Allison gave a death threat to...
Okay, I was like, when has Allison ever received a death?
and how could it possibly be a death threat to Allison when Margot exists?
Margot said, I'm sorry, what?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Margot turned up.
Margot said, what?
You're going to have to tell me more about this.
Say it one more time.
Say it again. Say it again, just a little louder, because that's strike 3 right there.
Oh, instant strike 3. We don't get there often. Wow.
But when they do,
That might be a that might be a record. Congratulations! I hope
I might
the
have to
Solace
fuck you
Ford
up
happens
now.
next.
I'm gonna have to fuck you up now.
Oh wow.
No, I genuinely I was asking because I was like, it's usually Allison giving them. I'm gonna be real.
Usually,
It's
you mean this
usually-
one time?
Usually Allison, she thinks about it a lot. Whether or not she ever actually thinks about it a lot.
Allison?
Yeah.
She doesn't think about death threats. She thinks about
She makes
death. She doesn't think about
intimations
death threats.
towards violence, especially in Brooke's direction, quite often.
I mean, yeah, she's always assumed that she's going to have to kill Brooke, but you know.
That's a death threat. Hey,
Oh,
hey,
that
one counts. Yeah,
Allison, honey, that counts.
honey, that counts. That one
Why didn't
counts.
anyone tell me?
I'm sure some people and other beings like wolves have, for sure.
Oh shit.
Yep. Paint with all the colors of the wind. Just listen. If you just listen, you would know.
Where, as Silas, walks through the door, where is Noelle? Like,
She is upstairs in their room. Unlike Jazz, who preferred to sleep alone, and Silas, who did not want to sleep with Jazz.
For reasons.
For unknown reasons, possibly to do with, the death of her sister.
Right. The mysterious death of her sister.
Mysterious death of her sister, just, it's a turn off. You know how these things are. And until the grieving period is over, maybe we shouldn't sleep in the same bed. You need your space, you need your quiet, you need your time.
15 years later.
15 years later, they still had their spare room. And now, magically, the two of them think, you know what, we should sleep in the same bed. These identical twins, who knew? Anyway.
Is Silas one to sort of like announce himself when he gets home?
It has been 14 years of Jazz trying to get Silas to do certain things that make them look affluent in the same way that she did to Allison. It is up to you whether or not Silas does that as this one is an easy one that I can just take on as a habit.
I think there's like a moment where he goes to and then sort of like stops and he's sort of like, wait. And then just doesn't. He's just like, I don't know. If there's any of the staff.
I was about to say, yeah.
He sort of smiles and then just like finger to the lips and then goes up to the
sweet man.
heads up to the room.
Noelle, you in the bed. You in the big bed.
The big bed.
You just,
and as sweet as this is, all things considered, I imagine it's going to be rather alarming.
Yeah.
Given the circumstances.
For sure.
And also Silas being in Egypt.
Yeah.
Who's that creeping up my window?
Up my window? Just up the stairs.
Door.
Oh,
no. Who's that creeping up my window?
Oh.
She's having a moment.
I
think
I thought you were
she absolutely shrieks if he sneaks up on her. Like
so here's my question to you. 14 years in Madagascar. Does Noelle keep a weapon near her?
She wouldn't be able to in the bedroom.
Why?
And that is because it's not something that Jazz would have done. She's considered this. The first night she was home, absolutely.
What kind of a weapon would Noelle have?
Something sharp and small.
She keeps a shiv.
Just a sharpened toothbrush.
It's probably like a butterfly knife of some sort, but like it's not a. I want to say that it's something like that. It's like very, 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 very thin, but also razor sharp, like a razor blade, but larger, like with a hand.
So here's an option. Is Noelle the kind to keep her hair tied up with a pin? Would she have done? Sure. Would she have gone the hairpin route?
Sure,
because that would be a way to conceal a weapon. If it is literally on her person or near her person when she's sleeping, because it's
think after the last couple of days, perhaps yes.
Okay.
I also point out there is a difference between not announcing yourself and sneaking.
True, and yeah, I don't know that she's going to pull a weapon on him if this is the way that he is always. This seems like a very Silas thing to do. It's just it's been 14 years since it's been done.
That's the only reason I'm asking these questions, because it's been 14 years.
Was going to sort of like, because that's what he did for 14 years, and then he had that sudden realization of it's not something I did because I wanted to. It was because I did it because it kept Jazz off my back, and then was like, I don't have to do that, so I'm not going to do that.
No,
and then he just sort of kept going. The plan was to knock on the door. Before it wasn't being like
that doesn't mean no. But that like
I'm not. Yeah, I don't get it.
That doesn't mean that she wouldn't. If someone knocks on her door in a way that is different and in a way at a time when she is physically vulnerable, she's going to react.
Why do you want Noelle to stab Silas?
I don't want Noelle to stab Silas.
I don't. I wasn't saying that she wouldn't do any of that. I was just clarifying that the plan isn't to like jump scare her.
Okay, cool.
Like,
it's I was just trying to add context of you spend a lot of time in a more rural place. Yeah. You end up with not heightened senses so much as like
keep your head on a swivel.
There's probably also a degree of like Silas would probably be like, yeah, if I jump scare, she'd stab me. I don't want that.
Right. I know my wife.
Yeah, it's like
I know my wife. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if she didn't.
I think he'd be, a little disappointed if she didn't,
I'm disappointed. I thought that maybe you'd stab me this time. You used to. Back in the day, we had such a stabby day. You used to stab me. No stabby now? Just kiss? No stab.
No stab? Oh,
that's why
not even a little bit of stab?
You've changed.
I'd never worked out with Jazz. She wouldn't stab him even a little.
She didn't stab him a little. No. She would be like, oh no, I made a mistake.
Oh no.
Oh well.
Did you need that artery?
That one, but
I'll be careful next time. Oh, you're dead?
Oh.
My bad.
Allison. Sorry, it happened again.
Wow.
First my sister, then your dad. These things, they need to stop standing in high places.
It could be worse. It could be both your parents.
Yeah.
Could have been me.
So you get to the top of the thing. The step. What are you doing? You tell me. You tell me the story. I don't know why I'm trying to tell a story when I don't know what's in your heads. Go for it.
He's going straight to the bedroom, and like, as I said, he's got the door's closed. He knocks on the door. If the door's open, he's still not. He just sort of stands.
I think that the door probably appears closed, but when he knocks on it, makes a sound but comes open. You know how when a door is not completely closed, it's like a well, you're suddenly knocking on an open door. And she does startle a little bit. There's a bit of a like, it's a shriek, but it's a quiet shriek. It's just like it's more of a startle, really. And it's pretty cartoonish because she turns over and does the like the gathers the covers. Silas. Oh my god. And then thinks about it, frowns, and like turns to like her face hardens for a moment, and she like immediately starts thinking, where did we go on our first date?
He's been like the moment like that happened, he sort of had like a small smile, and then the sort of like that whole process goes on. His smile just kind of gets bigger as he's just staying there like watching this process, and he's just beaming by the end.
Oh, stupid man. But yeah, Noelle's kind of having the inverse reaction, wherein it's just sort of like surprise, relaxation. Oh, it's Silas. Oh, wait, it's today. Silas is in, like, this is what's going on in my life. I'm waking up. Silas is in Egypt. Serious face. Where did we go on our first date?
We went mountain climbing, and in an effort to impress you, I took risks I shouldn't, and I ended up falling and twisting my ankle.
She's like, despite herself, like kind of like smiling. She's like, there's no way. Like he couldn't. But she's like, is that enough? Is that enough? She's gonna sit up at that, sort of like go as though she's like sort of like she gets out of the bed and she's regarding him, beaming at her. It's just
He starts like walking towards her, and as he does, he's just rattling off more details. And it's just, and then this, and then we had to do this, and then this happened, and then this.
Okay.
He gets up to gets like when he's like right up to her, and he's like, I ended up bedridden for 3 days, and it was the best stupid thing I ever did.
Why are you back so early?
Because I shouldn't have been gone.
A lot has happened. She like tempers the smile that is sort of breaking out across her face a little bit, sort of like, okay, back to earth. Like, this is all very complicated. I am not going to fall for that pretty smile again. There's a lot going on.
That damn smile.
Gosh darn it, sir. And she will like sort of turn away, because like this would be the part where they would embrace, they would greet each other, they would kiss. And that's not how they left off things. That's not how they left things. And it's awkward, and she's gonna let it be awkward. So she does kind of turn away a little bit, and she goes, you picked a hell of a time to return. And she kind of looks around her. It's like, why would there be anybody in their room? But still. We are dealing with a bit of an infiltrator.
As in?
As in, nobody can really be sure if anyone's who they say they are right now. Hence the questions. It's not because you look different, despite the scruff.
How long's that been happening?
Hard to say. It's been a long couple of days, I guess. But we don't know how long it's actually been happening. Just how long we've known about it. You've proved yourself, though. I'm not going to stab you. You can relax. And then she like sort of starts thinking about like the room that they're in, and like she isn't really sure whether or not he and Jazz like she doesn't know, and they haven't really gotten that far. Like he said he didn't, but did he know the whole time? And there's still a lot of questions in there.
There's a degree of like, sort of starts picking up on that sort of thing. And he's kind of just been looking at her the whole time. He starts like looking around the room, and he's like, "Huh." Looks at his watch. Yeah.
What?
This is now the longest I've been in this room for the past 15 years.
That can't be right. This is your bet. There's. And she kind of looks over to where like there would have been his things in a closet, but there aren't. So it doesn't look like they've been recently moved. And she's. That answers a couple of my questions, but you can see why this is.
It stopped being my bed when it stopped being yours.
Silas, we have a million things to discuss, and we should talk about them, but I can't think of a worse time than now to be questioning everything. God, give me a moment. I'm gonna go splash some water on my face. And she sort of like walks off and walks into the bathroom. She's just sort of like, oh God.
Silas, roll to turn someone on. I wanted to stop it before, but the scene was moving, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna let that move. But the reaction is the same.
No, that's a
no.
5. What's his hot? 5.
Which makes sense. Not distracted. Not entirely distracted.
So it's there, but it's I think overwhelmed pretty steadfastly by like there is fear and there is doubt and there is a lack of trust there because there are a million questions between them already, and it's very, very convenient. This is, what Noelle is in her head, like staring at herself in the mirror, like playing. So it's very, very convenient that he would come back right now in a time when things are so uncertain between us to begin with, and have all of the answers to the questions that I, had, and be absolutely prepared so that I will tell him absolutely everything. This is a perfect plan. If I were to think of a plan, this is the one I would come up with. This is the person I would choose. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So when she comes back, she is wearing a robe. Her hair is up in the way that Jazz's is usually. So she's got part of her mask on. But like the way that she's wearing the robe, just sort of like holding it together rather than like letting it be tied. And like the way that she is carrying herself is still very much Noelle. So she hasn't put on airs or anything. She did what was, sort of expected, but she hasn't completely shut him out. And she will sit on the chase at the end of the bed and pat the spot next to her, say, "Come sit."
He sits, I imagine, a little gingerly, because he's a big guy. And there's a degree of like, with certain, particularly with like, quote unquote nice furniture, there's a degree of like,
it will hold him. It is furniture built for this house.
It's his chase.
It's his furniture.
Okay, I was imagining it was,
but also he's not.
Whether it was a jazz edition or as like a.
It could have been.
If it's a, they had it, then it's like, well, sure, whatever. They would have made sure it was
right.
You buy something solid, but it's like if it was like something that Jazz had added, he's just like, I don't know if that's.
But also
purposely designed not to hold me.
But also, this man is built like a brick shit house.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Him and Nico, huh?
Huh?
Him and Nico, huh?
Him and Nico. He's made of stone.
Bare knuckle boxing.
Do not. You're broken.
I mean, as a person who has had furniture fail beneath him. Yeah.
He sits like a man who's had furniture fail beneath him.
Yeah.
But the furniture in the bedroom he sleeps in now is probably like it has been replaced multiple times.
It is an excellent point that I was envisioning that it was like there was a lot of jazz stuff still in there, but if it's still like if it had been pre that, then it's like no, they you make sure you buy something that's gonna actually bear the weight.
And I think to a degree, Jazz liked pretty things. This looks as functional as it is aesthetically pleasing.
I think the linens in the room are different. The curtains are different. The like bed linen and stuff like that, like all of those would be Jazz, but the furniture pieces beneath them would be the ones that like Noelle and Silas had prior to that. Because it's not like she's going to be able to get nicer ones. Like,
yeah, I mean, and for the same reasons that Noelle is keeping up pretenses as Jazz was keeping up pretenses.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I will say the duvet is different, or is the same as like it's Jazz's. But the sheets beneath it, Noelle has changed back to sheets that would be comfortable for her.
Yeah.
Because she could not stand whatever the fuck silk, whatever the fuck Jazz was sleeping on.
Whatever nonsense Jazz
that basically needed to be replaced every day because it's too freaking flimsy.
Yeah. Whatever like lace and satin bullshit that she had.
It was like one night and it was like, no, we're not.
No, absolutely not. This is sweaty and awful and no. What? No.
Sweaty and awful and no. But also,
while they're asleep. I mean, come on.
It's also entirely possible that, given the situation, as in where Noelle has been, she would want rougher. She just wants more rough.
I didn't say they weren't cheaper, too. I just said that they were. I said more comfortable. I didn't say they didn't come from, I don't know, fucking department store. Yeah.
The Target sheets.
The Target sheets. She went out. She had someone to go and get Target sheets.
Mm-hmm. They'd have been like, "Are you okay?"
I'm doing an art project. Leave me alone.
Testing a theory.
Mom.
I think the first time she sat in that bed, like that very, very, very first night when she got back, I think she got into that bed and she was like, "This is just more proof that Jazz was a vampire." Oh my God. She never slept. No one slept in this bed. Clear.
Would you've just slept on the floor? I would have. That's where I would end up.
Who's to say? I'm not privy to that.
I have not asked her. I don't know.
She doesn't. She didn't tell anybody what happened.
It was very specific the next day.
Yeah.
These things must change.
I need to go to Target. Wakes up in the morning. I need to go to Target.
Miss Finley? You sure?
Bring the car around.
But anyway, Silas sits down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm just to clear this up because it's been going around in my head for the last 5 minutes that we've been making these jokes. The furniture that is beneath them is the same craftsperson as makes the Reyes household furniture.
Oh, it's sturdy.
Yeah,
it's strong.
It's strong, but it's rated Silas proof. It has to be, and so like, if it can be Reyes proof, then it can be Silas proof.
Yeah.
I think if he is kind of ginger about sitting down, she will like sort of side eye and like laugh at him just a little bit. Like there's like a little like lip upturned smile. Like that is the moment where she becomes certain that this is Silas and not all of the other shit that he just said.
It's like there's an agree. He just sort of he starts laughing as well. It's like it has been a decade, 15 years of subpar furniture.
I don't even know where you got it from. Where do you even get subpar furniture in a fully
Not here.
That's a later question. I have some concerns. Really? What brought you home?
You, Allison.
I want nothing more than for that to be the case. It's not that I don't believe you. It really isn't. It's... Oh, God. There's so much happening. She sort of like looks pointedly over at him and she says, I've had 2 a day for the past week, probably. I don't even remember when I started smoking again, but kind of want one right now. Not gonna have one, but I'm thinking about it. If that's any indication of how I'm doing.
Sounds to me like I chose the best time to come back. Well, second best.
I'm glad you're here. And I'm glad you're you.
I'm glad you're you.
You didn't ask me anything.
I didn't need to.
I guess that's fair. Allie's not taking this well. Predictably, understandably, but just don't be surprised if she's a little less easy to convince than I was when you see her.
Probably be surprised if she wasn't. We've all had it pretty rough, but none of us more than her. And you were dead, kind of. Still not as much as her.
Thank you for that reminder. No, I mean, you're absolutely right. And there are times when I just want to scoop her up and shove her onto a plane and ship her as far away as humanely possible so she can try and live a semblance of a normal life. But things just keep getting stranger. I don't even know where to start.
I don't think there's anywhere we could send her where she would get normal.
I met with what's been happening for the past couple of weeks, Silas, not where I would start to send her. I know there are places where she'd be happier. Madagascar probably would have done her very well.
I understand. Of course, she'd have to be away from all the people she cares about.
Is she really sure those people are who they say they are anymore?
Probably not.
Maybe it would hurt her.
Help her.
I'm doing what I can. But maybe it would hurt her less to just... She's not going anywhere. Not now.
I think both of us can speak to the fact that not being around doesn't make it hurt less.
Noah kind of frowns at that. She kind of gets lost in thought for a second. And she... Stop. With the words and the making sense and the... I know you're trying to be comforting right now, but there's a lot I need to explain to you about what's been happening while you've been gone. Things I couldn't say on the phone. It's more than just the... It's more than just the cuckoo. Then she sort of like tells him all about the big guy and him coming to visit and them having an argument, which I will not... I'm going to star wipe on that instead of saying it again because we were both there when it happened.
Yes.
We were all there.
Everyone was present. What I will say, for the purposes of it, Silas feels the same way about death as Noelle does.
That feels right. Yeah. I basically told him to go fuck himself. So I don't know if I'm on the best terms with the big guy in particular right now, but it's just one thing too many, you know? I don't know what he knows. And I don't know what he's going to do when he finds out what he wants to know.
I mean, you know how I feel about him. But
Thankfully, yes.
you mentioned his son?
Lie. Works with the Reyeses from time to time, or has been.
Could be, despite our professional disagreement. We get it as parents. Sometimes there's that disconnect between what you need to do as your job and what you need to do as a parent, or what you want to do.
I would hope so, but that's a big risk to take, don't you think? His job being what it is and all. And me being in the position I'm in.
Wasn't suggesting we'd be risky about it, just suggesting. In fact, I would say that what I'm suggesting is we be more wary. I don't know what would be scarier. Him acting professionally or him acting as a father.
I think I was seeing both. And let's just say it didn't help. There are some images in my mind that it's going to be a while before I can put away. It did make him a little angry. It's the fact that this can't even be the thing that I spend my time worrying about right now that bothers me more than anything. You know? It feels like there are attacks coming from all sides. Allie saw me have a vision yesterday. Probably the first time she's seen it happen, but not the way I would have chosen for her to see it. It was a big one. When I came to, I was here in bed. And she and Margot were standing over me. Allison looked terrified in a way that I've become all too familiar with over the past couple of weeks. And that's an image I can't get out of my head either. It's just his face, her face, and that vision playing on a loop. I don't know what to do. And I don't know whether me being here is helping or hurting things.
I think if we're beset from all sides, we don't know in any particular given moment who we can turn to. And we have mounting issues from wide-ranging sources that we need to tackle. I think in that situation, what we do is what we have always done.
Which is
the best we can for Allison.
What if the best thing for her would have been for me to have not come back?
I don't believe that for a second.
You can't know. No one can, including me, which is saying something.
I was here for a time. I know what it was like with Jazz. I guarantee you this is an improvement.
I'm not saying that she should be here instead of me. I'm saying maybe neither of us should be here. Maybe I should have taken her over the cliffside with me. And everything would be a lot cleaner.
Cleaner doesn't mean better.
I'm not so sure anymore. Messier certainly doesn't mean better. That's what I've been able to ascertain in the little while I've been home. Hell, even Ari's hoofed it off to Europe. She's got her reasons, but I just don't want to make things worse, you know?
I don't know.
It's been years since I've said anything to anyone, and the response has been, I know. I miss that. Reckless arrogance and all.
We have both, for the past far too long, been in a situation where the best thing we could do for our daughter was to not be there for our daughter. I don't believe going forward that that is true. It was true then because back then it was worse. It was bad. It was real bad. And yeah, we've got problems now.
Yes, we do.
Got a lot of we made quantity-wise maybe more. But they're problems that we can now face together. Even if it's just three of us. And in time, maybe we get back to a place where we can unreservedly trust our friends again.
And Noelle is going to, I think, just sort of like rest her head on his shoulder. And just... She doesn't have anything else to say. She's just kind of thinking about that and thinking about what parts of that she disagrees with and thinking about how much she hopes that can be true. She doesn't say any of it, but Silas would know. And just that small act of like initiating touch between them is more than there was there before he left.
Yeah, I think when she initiates that, he puts like an arm around her shoulder.
She kind of just like leans into that and just like literally almost falls asleep from the comfort of it. Because like You ever just need a goddamn hug?
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you just need a goddamn hug.
You ever just need a goddamn hug?
So it's like, she's been carrying a lot of things, and then this person comes on and goes, "But I can help with that."
Wait. Hang on. Someone rolled. What was that?
Oh, no, it wasn't. I was just rolling for funsies. I'm testing the dice.
You're testing the dice. Okay. Roll for comfort.
Roll for comfort. Roll for snuggles.
Roll for snuggle time. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Let's leave them there for a moment.